Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the first episode of Non-Content Podcast Reloaded, where I'm gonna take something that I made a long time ago and reboot it with barely any similarities except for the name and the general idea. So, welcome to the completely uninformed podcast about just assorted shit that I want to talk about. Because that's what it is now. Yay. Anyway, so there's a lot of shit that's been happening, like, while I've been trying to think, like, to bring this back. And one of the biggest, I should say, is probably the SAG-AFTRA strike, but I don't want to touch that just yet. Well, not, I probably will, I'll talk about it later, but it's whatever. But, probably the Nintendo Switch, that got announced for like a couple weeks before this is posted. Month, maybe. And I've seen a lot of people throw shit, and I've seen a lot of people praise it. Me, personally, I'm in the praise category there, praising that shit like the sun. So, first off, let's go ahead and let's talk about the Nintendo Switch. So, Nintendo Switch is what everyone really expected, because leaks happened, and leaks suck. Only thing we didn't really know was what it would look like. But we knew it was going to be a hybrid. It was going to be able to be a portable and a home console. And it would be like a seamless transition. Like, you could be playing like New Legend of Zelda at home, and then when you want to go out, just fucking pop the screen out and take that shit on the bus. Which I think is fucking radical, by the way. Now, you have no idea how long I've actually wanted a handheld that could play my console games. Even, like, way back when, like, the original Xbox came out, there were rumors that there was going to be a portable Xbox, like an Xbox handheld. Oh, at least there was where I lived. Like, it was kind of like I have a friend or I have a family member that works at Microsoft, and this is what I heard, like, kind of like a schoolyard rumor kind of thing. And that thing, and there was at the point where, like, there were people making mock-ups and shit. And I thought that was fucking awesome. Like, I was like, oh my god, when's this thing gonna come out? Like, when? I need it now. I want to be able to play the Halos and Azuric, Rise of Parathia, like, on the bus. I want to be able to do that. And then people stopped talking about it, and it was as if it had never happened. And I got kind of bummed, and I've constantly been on the lookout for a handheld that was basically the equivalent of a console. The PS Vita is probably the closest we ever got to that, but I didn't own a PS3 until recently, so I never even bothered to get the Vita. I still don't own a PS4. I might do if the price comes down again, but not really too bothered on that one. Not really any games on PS4 that I can't play on my computer that I want to play. Except maybe like Bloodborne, but I've got Dark Souls 3, so why would I need Bloodborne? But like, just the concept of being able to just like play full 1080p. I mean, it's Nintendo. I mean, Wii U was 60 FPS, so I don't know if this one will be as well. I don't know. I ain't seen that shit yet. Like I said, uninformed. Based off, like, shit I've heard. I've done no research on this shit. And then just being able to pop it out. I guarantee you there's gonna be a fucking performance drop. Nintendo has said that there's no, like, extra guts in the docking station beyond an HDMI output, but they can go fuck themselves on that shit, because, I guarantee you, with how that thing looks, and the fact that the actual fans of this thing are covered by the dock, I guarantee you there's gonna be extra cooling. And that itself is going to be enough to improve the performance. I guarantee there's going to be fucking cooling on the dock that's going to be better. So the device, to save battery life, I can see it underclocking when it's on portable mode, and and also make sure it doesn't get too hot, so it doesn't burst into flames in your backpack, and of course save the battery, because that shit's going to eat battery like a fucking old school Game Boy eating double A's. And like then you plug it into the dock, it's got extra cooling and it's got extra juice, so it's of course gonna run better. It's probably gonna even overclock the what is it? Was it a Integra or something? Like it's one of the Nvidia mobile chips, and it's a good one. It's one that hasn't actually come out yet. So yeah, all people I've heard saying, "Oh, this thing is gonna be another Wii U, it's gonna be underpowered." Blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. Fuck you. It ain't gonna be as powerful as the Scorpio. It ain't gonna play in 4K. It ain't gonna fucking play Blu-rays. But you know what? Fuck you. I don't own a 4K TV. I bet you don't own a fucking 4K TV, so whatever. This is some bomb-ass tea. I keep forgetting this is audio only, so you can't see me drink it. But, yeah. So, I mean, I don't own a 4K TV. I don't need a 4K machine. I don't. My graphics card in my PC can run 4K. Do I use it for 4K? Fuck no. I use it for 1080p, which means I could get to have more performance out of it because I'm not overclocking it to run at 4K. Fucking amazing! But, yeah. I mean, all this shit about, oh, it's going to be underpowered, oh, it's not going to stack up to the Scorpio, oh, it's not going to do blah, 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 blah. Like, fuck, dude, like, all these people that think if they get a 4K console, they're magic gonna get 4K gaming, they need to be fucking strung out and shot, for reals. Oh. Like, it's stupid. Gaming in 4K, yeah, it's awesome if you can do it, but seriously, there is not that much of a difference. If you've been gaming in 1080p, like, your whole life, yeah, and you suddenly go to a 4K TV, it ain't gonna make you less of a fucking scrub. It isn't. It really, really isn't. Like, I don't get what this fucking obsession with 4K resolution is, right? Like, you can run 4K resolution textures on a 1080p screen. You can. Like, I have 4K Skyrim mods, and I run in 1080p, and it works fine. And even then, like, they don't even need to be 4K to look good. They really don't. Oh, Jesus, that was some bomb-ass tea. Fucking hit me like a bomb. Just, the real thing people should be looking at for graphical fidelity is poly counts, frame rate, refresh rate, just shit like that. Like, you can have 4K textures all you want, but if your models have low poly counts, you're gonna, like, I don't care if you're running in 4K if it looks like a fucking PlayStation 1 game. Like, there have been some games that have run in 4K that just look fucking gross. Like, the models look jaggy and they look gross. It's like, oh yeah, you've slapped some 4K paint on it, but I can still see the fucking jaggies on the fucking polygons, you dumbass. Like, I mean, honestly, we don't even need 4K. We really don't. I mean, shit, this hasn't come out yet, has it? Fuck. Whatever, I'm spoiling it anyway. So, I've started playing Heavy Rain, right? The next level in the David Cage Sadness trilogy. It came out in the height of 1080p, and it looks fucking awesome, right? Doesn't look photorealistic, but looks pretty damn realistic. It's actually, it doesn't, like, normally with most quote-unquote realistic things, like, I hit the point where, you know, it's like, oh, this is Uncanny Valley. Like, it's almost there, but it's not quite. Like, I haven't had a moment in Heavy Rain where, like, I had that moment of, oh, that face didn't look right, or that didn't, yeah. Like, it's unreal enough to be, maybe to, like, I'm not like, oh my god, I'm watching a movie, but I haven't hit the point, but, like, at the same time, it looks realistic enough, I'm like, yeah, that looks good, dude. Like, one thing I will never fault David Cage, like, his games look good. Like, fuck, dude, like, talk about the man and his polygons all you want. The man knows how to fucking, or his team, I should say. His team knows how to whip polygons into some nice-ass shape. That's not a 4K game. It got a re-release on the PS4 that I think is in a higher resolution, but it doesn't look too different to me. Like, there really is not too much of a noticeable difference for 4K. It's not noticeable enough, I should say. Like, it doesn't improve your game in any real way. Like, I mean, like, I still play games that weren't even like 1080p wasn't even a thing when they came out. Like World of Warcraft, for example, came out in fucking 2004. And yeah, they've had some graphical increases as the time's gone on. They completely redid the models. But hey, guess what? They didn't make the 4K fucking textures. They boosted the poly counts, and that game looks fucking awesome still. Like, sometimes you hit something that's janky, that's using old assets from 2004, but that's kind of the nature of the beast when you come to games like that. But I've talked far too fucking long on this. But yeah, Nintendo Switch doesn't need to be super powerful. It is a really fucking neat looking console. I'm going to pick one up when March rolls around, and it's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy it, and I really hope other people purchase it, and because it's gonna be the next Wii, except I don't feel like it's gonna taper off like the Wii did. The Wii's failure was that it had a really good idea and then fucked it up. Because motion controls, let's be honest, majority of people that were third party were gonna fuck it up. That's just it. Like, most third party developers that didn't work with the team that made the motion control thing in the first place do not under-fucking-stand how it works. Even with the PlayStation Move and the Kinect, we saw that. Any game that wasn't made by Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo, or one of the companies that work really, really close with those companies, like, once again, Quantic Dream, who, I'm told, I don't own any Move controller, so I can't speak to this myself, but I've heard that Beyond Two Souls works really good with Move controllers. So, fuck me, I guess. I don't know. But like, so many third-party games that had motion controls, like basically everything on the Wii's fucking list was garbage, or they didn't use the motion controls whatsoever. But this gimmick, though, you cannot fuck this gimmick up. You can't. Make a normal video game and make it able to run at lower specs. Well, fuck me, you've just made a PC game. Oh! So, like, you know? Like, I mean, that's basically PC games in a nutshell. Like, you make a video game, you make, okay, this is the intended graphical settings, this is high settings, for example. I don't actually make video games. I'm studying to learn to make video games, but this is my understanding of it. You make the video game, you're like, okay, these are the intended settings, high, with all the settings turned on. Okay, what about assholes that have lower end PCs? Alright, so we take this off, we turn off some AA, we cut let's go ahead and cut this feature down a little bit. Let's turn down the AA from 8 times to 2 times. That's whatever, that's fine. Let's turn down the draw distance a little bit, you know? Like, just make, like, all you would have to do is make your video game, and then instead of just being like, okay, that's done, then you just make a graphical setting for the portable mode that will run on an underclocked system with the intent of keeping battery life from draining super fast. That's gonna be the main hurdle, but here's the thing, it's a pretty fucking easy hurdle to get around. It's the same fucking hurdle, that the NVIDIA Shield had. And the NVIDIA Shield did fine. Even though it was like a $2,000 machine. It did fine, and the games that worked on it, they worked on it because they were PC games. All Nintendo has to do is approach it, for the first party stuff, approach it in that way. I know Nintendo doesn't make PC games, but they can learn, and maybe this will bring them into the 21st century, and maybe we'll get a Nintendo eShop on PC. I wouldn't mind a Nintendo Steam. I really wouldn't. I would love to be able to play, like, old Mario titles on my computer without fucking emulating it. But that's besides the point. And then all of the developers and publishers Nintendo has got on board to work with the I keep wanting to call it the Wii Switch, the Nintendo Switch, or NS. I'm gonna call it the NS. Everyone they've got on board to work with the NS, they are also like, I don't think there's a single developer on that list except for maybe DNA, which is a Nintendo-owned company, I think, or Nintendo-partnered company. Yeah. All of those companies have made shit for PC. They know how PC releases work. Like, some of them have had some shitty ports in the past, but they work. And since this is a console, it's going to be easier because you've got one... Ooh, pardon me, I've got hiccups now. You've got one setup, you've got one chipset. Let's call it that. It's just you have to make it so it runs when it's being overclocked and runs when it's been underclocked. Easy compared to the other shit they've had to put up with from Nintendo. But yeah, a lot of people don't seem to realize how like this thing should be a fucking slam dunk for Nintendo. Like, Nintendo's handhelds fucking own the planet. Like, I don't know a single goddamn person that doesn't, at minimum, own a 2DS. Like, I don't know a single person that doesn't want to buy the new Pokemon when it comes out. So if you cannibalize that 3DS market, because the 3DS is probably going to reach its end of life soon, yeah, and you bring them into the Switch... Not only do you have people like me, the assholes that buy the Nintendo home consoles, yeah, who are buying this thing, you have the people that are buying the Nintendo portable consoles coming into this thing. And everyone's playing the same games. You've doubled your player base almost. Yeah, and you can bring portable stuff to the console people, and you can bring console stuff to the portable people. It's a fucking slam dunk. That is such a selling point. Like, you cannot fight that. That is too strong. That's the world over heaven of consoles. You cannot beat that. You fucking can't. Jesus, but I've been talking about that for far too long. But yeah, like, TLDR, Nintendo Switch fucking strong. The world over heaven on steroids. Alright, so what else has been going on? So... Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about Dishonored 2, actually, because I posted a video on Dishonored 2, and I haven't been able to post anything since. So, Dishonored 2... Speaking of ports, actually, Dishonored 2 is probably the worst fucking port I've ever seen. Oh my god. So, the first Dishonored ran fairly well. There were moments where it would chug, and like... Okay, that's understandable, because Bethesda doesn't do ports well, and it's fucking Bethesda, what do I expect? And I did get it on day one, so, yeah, it needs patches, understandable, but fuck me. Like, here's a bug, right? And this bug makes it impossible to record. If you take the game out of focus for half a second, it cuts the frame rate in half. Like, I shit you not. So when I run the game perfectly fine by itself, it runs at a nice 60, right? I can get it to go at 60. Then I turn on Open Broadcaster. Open Broadcaster, I record everything on Open Broadcaster at 30. So I do things accordingly. I set things to 30 and I go. When the game is out of focus, so Open Broadcaster can grab it, the game freaks the fuck out and cuts itself down to 15 frames a second. Now, I can fix this, and it will work for a while, but then eventually it will happen again. And it makes the game damn near impossible to let's play. So, I love the game, what I've played of it so far, despite these issues. It has been a really good and fun game. I love the concept. I love that you can play as Emily this time. I love that Emily has different powers than Corvo. I love how everything is playing out from the, 2 levels I've been able to fucking play. But this is goddamn ridiculous. How the fuck do you make a game that on a system like mine, my system is not the most powerful on the planet, right? It's not. My system is not the most powerful. My system is running an R9 380 right now, I think, with an i7 processor and fuck knows how much RAM. I don't know, I don't remember. So it's not like a Titan build, but it's pretty fucking good. Like, I would say it's upper middle end. And I can't fucking run it. And I can run every other game. I can run every other fucking game in my library on at least high. But this one, which is not even that graphically impressive, it is pretty, I will say, set to ultra high, the game is pretty. But my system, if taking it out of focus for half a second to turn on a goddamn recording so I can play the game, extol its virtues, fuck you, Bethesda. You know it's an issue. Day one, it was an issue. You've had, what is this, almost a week now? You've had almost a week now to sort this out. You actually had more time than that because reviewers were telling you about this issue. Pre-orderers, were telling you about this issue the day early that they got the game. So you've had more than a week. You've put out a hotfix for AMD cards, which I appreciate because now the game will actually run on AMD cards, but you didn't fix this issue. This isn't even a Let's Player issue. Anyone, and I mean anyone that plays on PC, knows that alt-tabbing to check your Facebook or check your Reddit or fucking, I don't know, alt-tab during a load screen. I don't know. Whatever you gotta do on your computer is the reason God gave us the ability to use more than one monitor. Yeah. And even then, even if you get a pop-up that makes you lose focus, because that happens on Windows 10 if it needs an update or something. Fuck you. You've got to close the game and reopen it. From start. And by the way, the opening messages in the game, as per the normal with Bethesda games, cannot be skipped. And there is fucking a minute and a half of logos. And then a loading screen, which depending on your system might take another minute and a half. So you're looking at almost 5 minutes of logos and loading screens before you can get to the main menu. And then you gotta hit continue. Load your last quick save. Wait another loading screen. And then hope you don't get tabbed out again. It's fucking embarrassing. It's awful. And I want to continue my Let's Play of the game, but until they fix this issue, I can't. So, yeah, we're going to be playing something else. So, yeah, that's the thing. So, what else? I wanted to talk about the Screen Actors Guild, didn't I? Okay, so Screen Actors Guild. So, for those of you who don't know, the Screen Actors Guild Voice Actor Division, SAG-AFTRA, I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know what the acronym is. But they went on strike, and that is every major voice actor, I think, is part of SAG-AFTRA. And they've said that they're not going to do any work that was started after, early this year. I think it's either August or July. Any game that starts production after August, I think it was August. My brain's telling me August, though something's telling me it might be July as well. I don't know. This is uninformed, so I don't give a fuck. But after a certain point, any game that started will not be able to access SAG-AFTRA voice talent. And that's quite a few people. There's quite a few people in SAG-AFTRA. I don't have a list off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the big ones are on it, like the people that we hear everywhere. So, good news is we might get people other than Nolan North playing characters in video games now. But, yeah. But it's still kind of shitty. But basically, they want to be treated like human beings. The current contract for members of SAG-AFTRA working in video games was written in 1999, I want to say, late 90s. And back then, voice acting wasn't too big of a thing. It existed, but it wasn't the end-all be-all when it came to video games. But now, voice acting is a pretty fucking big deal. Voice actors can actually push units. If you have a voice actor who has a lot of clout, someone who is a fucking big name, and not even voice actor, actors too. That's why Call of Duty got fucking Jon Snow in the new one. Didn't help him too much, though, because the new game sucks dick, but that's the point. So they want to kind of be treated like human beings. So they don't want another repeat of Sean Schemmel going Super Saiyan 3. They don't want to have to shout for more than 2 hours straight and potentially give themselves vocal cord damage, especially because their vocal cords are what keeps them fed. which is understandable. I mean, even doing what I do, like, I'm a loud person when it comes to recording. I am. I know I am. I've had to get minor soundproofing on my room so I don't piss off the other people in my house. So my recording sessions, I have to stop after about 3.5 hours, and get a drink, because, I will wear my voice out, and I will, and you can actually hear it. Like, you can actually tell how late in a recording session some of my videos go, depending on how far it goes. So some of these people having to go for, like, I've heard horror stories of, like, one guy had to go for, like, was it like 5 or 6 hours doing, like, a very, very shouty role, and they kept having him scream and do, like, horrible, like, death screams, and it actually caused a hemorrhage in his vocal cords, and that could be fucking dangerous for a voice actor. That could fucking end your career right there. That's the equivalent of snapping your kneecap off in the NFL. You're never playing again, dude. Sorry. Go and coach high school. So that's understandable. I mean, even 2 hours, if I had, a lot of voice actors, I'm pretty sure they try and stack their jobs so they aren't out of work, but of course that doesn't help a lot. I know I have some friends that do voice acting professionally, and they say that they always try and stack their jobs because they never know when they're going to get another one. So they go from one job to another job to another job. And 2 hours, like, if every job they have, is 2 hours of straight screaming, then that's fucked, dude. Like, I would have argued for 1 hour, like maybe half an hour of screaming roles, but I don't know how they came to that 2 hour mark, but I guess that's what they agreed on. So that's fine. Like, that's understandable. I encourage it. I actually thought that was the rule already. Like, fucking hell, SAG-AFTRA. Why weren't you looking after your guys in the 90s? And then the next one is they want to know what games they're working on. So here's something that I did know. So a lot of voice actors do not actually know what game they're working on until the game's actually out. So in Fallout 4, the guy who plays Kellogg, he did not know he was in a Fallout game. He was aware of Fallout. He knew Fallout was a thing. He had no idea he was in Fallout. So, and, like, a lot of people have actually said, like, I actually, when did that episode actually get made of my Fallout LP? I don't know. That might actually still be on the back burner somewhere. But in my Fallout LP, like, my playthrough of Fallout, I should say, I noted that Kellogg's voice, he sounded fucking bored. Like, he didn't really know where he was. He's just like, fucking take the baby, whatever. We got the backup, bleh. And that did kind of work for Kellogg's character, I guess. I mean, it could have been totally better. But now that I know he had no idea the context he was making these lines in, he had no idea, like, what the setting was. Like, fuck me, dude. Like I do a little bit of voice acting. Like, nothing professional. But I always try and understand what I am doing the voice in. I always ask about the character. I always... Like, if it's in a setting that I don't know, I will do research on that setting to make sure that I get the tone right. Like, holy shit. Like, it explains so much that these people just do not know what they're acting. And I had no idea, why that was a thing until I hit the third request. Residuals. So, when you're a voice actor, when you're an actor in general, I should say, there's a high turnover rate. So, like, unless you are a character that is in a game that is definitely getting a sequel and they're not being idiots and they're actually reusing you to voice the same character the next time, once you are done with a job, once you're done with a role, you're fucking gone. You're out. You make what was it, like $800, like minimum for SAG-AFTRA. You make $800 a day. And you maybe work, and you maybe get to work about 5 days a month, maybe. And depending on how big the game is, how many lines you got to do, like, that, of course, extends over multiple months. But once you're done, that money that you got, then has to sustain you until you get your next job. And immediately after you are done, you immediately hit the audition stage again, and you try and find another job. And for some voice actors, that can take 6 months. So I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, well, $800 a day, well, that's fuck good. I only make $100 a day. But yeah, but you go to work like 5 days a week. They only get to go to work 5 days a month. Like, as an example. So say that like 5 days a month. So say that 5 days a month is like, static across the board, and they get to work 2 months. They have about $1,600, give or take, to last them 6 months. Now, I don't know about you, but I couldn't do that. I would not be able to do that. And that's why I said, like, my friends, they try and stack their jobs, so they get more than one going at a time, so they have more work, and they have more money. That's fucking hard. That's not entirely possible to do, and there's some periods where they can't do that, because there's just not enough auditions to go around. And it's fucking hard, dude. I mean, so with residuals, yeah, what they want is when a game passes when a game passes a certain dollar amount, they want a little bit of money back in residuals. It's not a lot. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it is not a lot. It's like enough to kind of keep them going while they keep looking. So we don't have, Jennifer Hale. I shouldn't say Jennifer Hale, because, like, bitch got enough fucking money. Like, I love you, Jennifer Hale, but, man, you got so much money. Damn, you got fucking, you're the queen of voice acting right now. But we don't want, like, Steve Bloom in a coffee shop, right? I mean, once again, he's another person who's got infinite money from this shit almost, but you get what I mean. At one point, they probably were in a coffee shop while reading over the script of Mass Effect or something, And it sucks, dude. It sucks. Like, if they could get some residuals and they got money to tide them over while they're looking for jobs, maybe we'd see more voice actors for one. We wouldn't be stuck with the same people doing the same voice in every fucking video game, cartoon, movie, whatever. And we would see more rising stars. There are tons of really, really good voice actors that fly completely under the radar because they have to give it up because they financially can't support it. It sucks. And even then, residuals should be a thing that just happens. They should get residuals. And one of the big things is that game developers don't get residuals. They have a high turnover rate, so why the fuck should the voice actors? But here's the thing. Game developers should be getting residuals too. They should. They just haven't asked for them, or they don't have a union. Like, the video game industry is fucked. Like, I'm gonna say that. Like, whoever's at the top and raking in millions and 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 millions of dollars, they are not sharing it with the voice actors, they're not sharing it with the designers, they're not sharing it with the developers, they're not sharing it with anyone. And they're working them to the bone, and they're getting them on a crunch culture that fucking drives developers to work like 80-hour weeks, like, to do basically the impossible. And I get the feeling that if that culture was lessened, and these people got more support, and these people were able to practice their craft, we would have much better games. If SAG-AFTRA wins this thing and they get their contract renegotiated and they get what they want, then hopefully that will spur the game developer side of things to do the same. And while games might take a little bit longer to come out, I mean, they already take a good chunk of time anyway for people that are actually doing non-crunch culture, like the whole it's done thing. Like, give me more of that. I will take that for every single video game. I will take that for every single video game to ever come out, because it will mean that we get better video games. Like, done when it's done, like that. Right, that is just a philosophy that, like, well, sometimes it can bite people in the ass, i.e., Half-Life 3, it can also make much better games. Like, every game, like every first-party Nintendo title, I'm pretty sure has a done when it's done mentality. like Shigeru Miyamoto, like when I don't know if he's still making Mario games. I think he might have like gone into a more supervisory role, but his whole thing, he doesn't release a game unless it's finished. And there hasn't been a single Mario game that didn't bring something new to the table. There's not a bad Mario game. There doesn't exist. There's not a bad Zelda game. Like, people shit on Skyward Sword, but Skyward Sword tried something different, and while it wasn't like the next Majora's Mask, it sure as hell wasn't the CDI games. Like, you see what I mean? Like, if we get out of this crunch culture, we treat the people making these works of art with respect. Like, come on, man. And even then, like, I've seen people be like, oh, it was voice actors. Voice actors don't sell units. Well, fuck you. Like, I'm going to admit, like, if voice acting disappeared from video games, like, if I was going through Dark Souls and I didn't hear the creepy, spooky voices of all the undead and ashen ones and hollows, like, telling me their stories, like, that game would, like, it would be a horrific slogfest of garbage. Like, the voice acting is the reward in that game. If I was playing through World of Warcraft and I didn't get to hear fucking Ronan talk about the citizens of Dalaran looking to the sky every time someone completes the Algalon quest, like, there would just be another text box, and it wouldn't have the gravitas it did back in the day. If I was playing through, fuck, what other game I've been playing? If I was playing through Dragon Ball Xenoverse and I wasn't hearing Trunks and Goku and Vegeta and like voices from my childhood talking to me and like treating my character as a fellow hero, then that game would just be another mediocre fucking Bandai Namco fighter. Voice acting makes up a lot of these games. Like, not quite as much as the programming, for sure, but it makes up a lot. And voice actors need to be treated with respect. Developers need to be treated with respect. Neither of them are being treated with respect, and it's fucking appalling. So, yeah, that's something that needs to happen. It's just shit needs to be fixed. I made myself sad now, dude. I made myself sad. This is just gonna be like me just making up bullshit and, you know, just being uninformed and talking about shit I saw in the gaming news. I mean, Pokemon Sun and Moon comes out soon. I'm gonna be getting that. Can't record it though because Nintendo is fucking insane in the brain when it comes to Let's Play shit. But the Switch will make that better because they can't fucking stop me. Can't fucking stop me. I got an Elgato. If it's got an HDMI code, I can record it. Jesus. Anyway, everybody, I think that's all I got for the moment. This has been Non-Content Podcast Reloaded. I think I'm going to keep these around 30, 40 minutes in the future. This was a good time. Anyway, everybody, stay tuned. This is going to be coming out, I don't know, probably whenever I fucking want, because it's just me talking. And yeah, have a good one, guys.